So the first deck that we're gonna play on Arena today is like the red deck wins of this Explorer format, which I was told is like Pioneer, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm looking in this like you can't play Eidolon, you can't play Swiss Spear. I don't know. There's a lot of things that you can't play in this format that you can play in Pioneer. So I'm curious to see what this is actually like. This was the first list I could find. It looks pretty sweet. Looks like we're really leaning on Chandra Dress to Kill as a big part of this value plan. There's 16 one-drops in the deck, and then Wizard's Lightning and Skewer the Critics and Light Up the Stage can be considered one-drops in some aspects. So it's really leaning around getting Chandra Dress to Kill on board. And then we're playing a lot of utility lands here. 4 Ramunap Ruins, 4 Dead in the Bugbear, and a Sokenzan. I think that having all these utility lands comes with a little bit of a cost, but at the same time is pretty solid and can help further your game plan along. So the sideboard is really interesting. There's 3 Burning Hands, which is really good at dealing with green creatures, I'm pretty sure. Permanent is green, deals 6 damage. Fry is really good into blue and white creatures and/or planeswalkers. Weathered Runestone is really good against any graveyard strategy. Rampaging Ferocidon helps prevent life gain. Oh, excuse me. Helps prevent life gain and has a little bit of taxing and attacks. It has a little bit of evasion through menace. And then we have a couple Chandra Torch of Defiance down here at the bottom. Just the best red planeswalker probably ever printed. So we're just gonna go ahead and jump in here. I haven't played Arena in a long time, so I gotta remember historic ranked best of 3. I'm pretty sure I'm in bronze. Like that's how long it's been since I've played Arena. So you guys will have to strap in, hang out for a minute here while we try to. If I'm gonna try and climb this ladder at all, I'm not sure that that's something I'll actually try to make like a point to do. But we're just gonna kind of play and see what happens today. Doo -doo. This hand looks pretty solid, so yeah, we'll keep this. I think the best thing about this is when you're like, see, there's our third land, and it's a value land, so I mean, it's even better. We'll play Lava Runner. Probably play Kumano this coming turn. I guess I could play Light Up a Stage, but I really don't want to because I really don't want to play Light Up the Stage or Skewer the Critics here. I'd rather save it for something if I actually need it. Chandra into plus Light Up the Stage will be pretty solid. That's a pretty decent line of play here. I like that mountain art too. I don't even know what set that's from. I don't even know what set we're in right now. You okay, baby? Okay. Get Chandra down.
Don't think a fancy dress means I didn't come here to fight.
Alright. And then we'll play Light Up the Stage.
Warning shot.
Hang on just a second. Okay. Well, Niv is not promising. But the good news is that we can deal with it. Now the only problem here is that we're spending 2 spells and they get to put a ton of cards into their hand. Let's see, Helix, Vanishing Verse, and Prismari Command.
things up to a simmer.
Cast with Spectacle. And then we have Play with Fire for next turn. Now, they'll have Lightning Helix to get rid of the etching of Kumano. Kumano? I don't know how you say that. 7. Alright, so 7 is when we start to... 7 is when we actually get to do something. Now, we'll never get to ultimate our Planeswalker here just because we know they have a Vanishing Verse. So, no way we'll get value out of that. They'll probably Vanishing Verse now. Now they're going to play Vanishing Verse. They must have a tap land here.
Come on, Chandra.
They don't have any land. I think it's actually better to fire up the Den of the Bugbear here than it is to cast Play with Fire. Like, I hate to let that Play with Fire go, but we do have 4 points in our hand. And that Lightning Helix will give us a little bit of trouble. I'm curious to see if our opponent goes for the Lightning Helix. No. Interesting. They don't really have counter spells, so...
Oh, I've never crashed a wedding like this before.
I'm kind of torn here on what's better. I like the damage here. Then we're just going to pass. I like the damage here because Ramunap Ruins puts them to 3, and then Wizard's Lightning, Skewer the Critics, anything like that off the top wins the game. Now, we know that we're playing around the Lightning Helix, but I just don't see us playing around it for a long time. We've also seen a lot of lands. I mean, 8 lands and 18 cards. They have an answer for our Din here. We'll probably just scoop them up. I'm thinking that they do. Yeah. Oh, they had another Lightning Helix. Yeah, this is a... Alright, my chair could stop sinking. That'd be great. Yeah, this is the harder matchup. With the Ferocidons and the Chandras. We'll cut those 2, and then we'll cut the Wizard's Lightnings and try it like that. Like, I'm not saying that the Kumano is a great card or anything, but I think it provides more value as it's 1 mana for a damage, a potential extra counter, and then it's a 2/2. Okay, my chair is like killing me right now. Alright. I like this hand. I like having a sideboard card in our opening hand. Pretty sure they play things like Deafening Clarion in their deck. At least they used to. I'm not 100% sure on what that looks like now. I like getting this down, and then I like having the Ferocidon next turn because it makes Ferocidon a 4/4, and that feels really good. Feels like a pretty solid start for us. Your next creature spell this turn. Okay, so it's just that creature spell. I thought it was all the creatures that came in at first. When I first started reading it, but interesting I was wrong. Hey, what's going on, Ben? How are you, man? So we take one here. Go ahead and cast Play with Fire. Now he does have Lightning Helix at the ready, which is fine. I don't really think we want Soul-Scar Mage. Okay. Our opponent must not have had an answer there. I'm good. How was the beach and Noah's ball games? It was good. It was fun, man. You know, just kind of laid around and hung out and had a good time. And then Noah played pretty well. They lost the 2 games that we got to watch, but I talked to him last night and he said that they won both their games yesterday. So it was a pretty good trip all the way around, man. They have a lot of targeted removal, so I think Bonecrusher Giant's good in this matchup. Maybe we want to cut the Play with Fires. Play with Fire does feel like our worst removal spell here, so. Yes, one wise man has said if you read the card explains the card. I mean, that is fair. I've never quite heard it put that way, but you're not wrong. When I first started playing Magic, one of the guys that showed me how to play told me, they said if you read your cards, it will answer like 90% of the questions that you have. And that is a very true statement. It's a very true statement for a lot of things, but it's definitely true in Magic. We'll attack and see if they play a removal spell here. I'm kind of curious to see if they do, knowing that we didn't play a land. Yeah, they're wanting to play around the lot at the stage, in case that was like our only play. You learn a lot about people, honestly, about like whether they let you have the damage or not. In my opinion, tells you a lot about people. Those people haven't read Chains of Mesophiles. I don't even know what that card is, but now I feel like I need to see what it is. Enchantment. Oh, that has a lot more text than the errata text I'm reading right now. I don't even know what it says, but that looks like a lot of text. Probably going to play Prismari Command here if I had to guess. Yeah, he'll kill this and he'll make a treasure token. Now, yep, auto pay.
Go ahead, bite me as hard as you can, because I'm real stubborn.
And then we'll play the Soul-Scar Mage here, get something down. And then depending on what their turn looks like this turn, we have the option of plus Chandra into Torch of Defiance, attack plus Torch into Light Up a Stage after combat, so that feels pretty good. Listen, I didn't say it would solve all your problems if you read the cards. I said it would solve most of your problems, which I feel like is true. And we draw a Pyromancer. Clothis, okay.
Aw, you're looking a little singed.
So I'm actually just going to attack, and then I'm going to plus...
This'll be
and play the Pyromancer. I like adding more to the board here. Now, they do get the constant berating of just like draining gain here a bunch of times, but if we can dodge, really we need like another turn where they can't deal with all of our stuff. Territorial Kavu honestly doesn't even scare me, so that's kind of nice. Maybe this is a good Burning Hands matchup. Now they're going to get rid of our big Chandra. Okay. I'm going to start here. I think the best part of Paper Magic is when someone reads a card where they know exactly what it is because they're about to lose. That happens quite regularly in Paper Magic. Yeah, I agree. That is pretty funny, honestly. Ew. Alright, so... I mean, I'm okay with this. Like, we're trading... Like, we still have an active Chandra and multiple threats on the field, so I'm not really worried about... Plus, I'm trading a card... Like, I'm putting in... I'm getting rid of a big threat to have a Bonecrusher Giant later, and I have an active Chandra on the field, which feels pretty solid. I have backup Chandra if I need it to. Honestly, this turn could just look like plus Chandra into Ferocidon Bonecrusher Giant, but we are setting ourselves up to be swept away quite severely if we do that, so it is something we need to be a little bit careful about. So let's start here.
Let's bring things up to a simmer.
Light up the stage. I mean, hitting 3 light up the stages has been really good. Definitely should have played the Lavarunner first. That was not very smart. I'm actually just going to say no attacks here because I feel like ultimating the Chandra puts us in a really good spot here. I don't know what their last card is, but they chose not to put Giganta into their hand, so it must be something. Okay. Make a treasure token and deal 2, so you're not worried about that. That was a pretty good play. I don't feel like we're out of this game by any stretch of the imagination, though. Let's plus to see if we can find a better card. What was it? A land? That's not promising. Yeah, we'll send him with the clowns here. Cloythus puts us to 8. I mean, Kavu could kill us here because they could find a Lightning Helix and kill us. Ooh, no, they wanted the resource. Okay, that's interesting. Wonder what they found. Might have been Niv. And if they were adding a red mana there. You ever miss a lot of those old local events where you would drive 2 hours to top 8 while your buddy 03 dropped? Yeah, I mean, I feel like that that happened a lot. I feel like I was the person who would top 8, and then I feel like I was also the person who would 03 dropped. I did that a lot for PPTQs. Like that was like almost every weekend for like a year. Like we used to do that kind of stuff. Like I I love driving to play those events. So, did you and your buddies do that? and then concedes. All right, I guess they realize they're just not gonna lie. I didn't think we were gonna win that game, but we'll take it. Niv Mizzet is not really a good matchup for red normally, so no, I just let you run it back. Okay, cool. Yeah, after this on the docket, we're gonna play. I'm gonna play Boros Heroic in an Explorer to see what that's like. I'm kind of interested to see what that looks like because for a long time in Pioneer it was really good, and then all of a sudden it just became really bad one day. So I am interested to see what that looks like in an Explorer, which is like weird Pioneer. So yeah, we had that. You always had the aggro guys chilling done in 15 minutes. Then your control friends are just stressing for all 55 minutes to scrape their 2-3 record. I mean, yeah, that happened a lot. A lot of the mid-range players and the control players, it did take a while to for them to get done. I've told people for years when I play Magic, that's why I prefer to play like Burn or like whatever the aggro deck is in the format because I'm winning or losing normally in 20 to 25 minutes, which means I got time to use the bathroom, get something to eat. Like, uh, yes, I do remember those approach players. That was actually one of the only times that I stepped out of playing aggro to play a control deck was playing Approach of the Second Sun. I played at FNM a lot. I never played it in a big event just because the mono red deck just like ran over that approach deck because you settle the wreckage the red player when you were already down to like 8 or less. Oh, we're playing Born to Be again. Well, we can't keep this one. We can't keep this either. This is pretty bad. All right, this is a pretty good hand. Um, I think I just want to keep the 2 lands, the 2 creatures, and the Chandra here. But yeah, like, and then you would just like after you got settled the wreckage playing red, like you just had Banefire, and you just Banefire for like anywhere between like 6 to 9, and it was just almost unbeatable. That was honestly like ooh, drawing another Chandra is no bueno. Was one of my favorite standards to be a red player. I was like, please let us draw land. All right, well, we got a pretty good start so far. We just need to keep that pressure up. Good news is that if they have like a Vanishing Verse or something for our Chandra, we have backup Chandra. So hopefully they go for removing our Planeswalker. Because if they did that, then I mean, the obvious play here is to go for removing the Chandra. You get rid of our Planeswalker, and then all you have to beat is a couple of Durky creatures.
Watch me heat up the dance floor.
And now... Alright, I mean, I don't know, that turn didn't feel like super exciting or anything, but it was okay. Knowing the way this hand's turned out, like obviously hindsight's 2020, I would have put the Chandra back and kept a lot of the stage, but it worked out pretty well. I think having a second Chandra is honestly not bad for us, so... I used to just grind side events with approach at GPs and just like 2-0-1 the whole weekend because all the red players were in the main. I mean, honestly, that's not a terrible idea. Like, I enjoy playing in the main events because I like the competitive aspect. But man, if you're looking for money and value and stuff like that, bro, you need to be playing side events. Side events is where all the value is. I've said that for years now. To be fair, it's like most of the community says that, so it's not like I'm like some prophet or something, but I think he's got a lightning helix in his hand.
Oh, why?
I was like, that's just kind of nice because we have a follow-up Chandra.
This little candle is the world on fire.
All right.
You're looking a little singed.
Now, I'm worried that our mulligan to 5 here is going to get the best of us. This is one of those matchups where having Rolling Vortex would be really good. I don't know if you can play Rolling Vortex in this form. Well, yeah, you can play Rolling Vortex in this format. I'm playing it in Feather. Duh. There was always that one friend who would just slay side events too, and that was like his thing. He couldn't top eight anything, but could go 3 days of like no match losses. Yeah, no, that's for sure. All right. If they have a way to deal with this Chandra as well, then we are in a little bit of a bind here because we have no cards and our opponent's still at 12. Growth Spiral and
Hey,
Hydroid
better not
Crisis.
ruin my dress,
Really liked
buddy.
Hydroid Crisis. Don't have another Lightning Helix. Alright, now, I don't even really know what we're looking to draw to stay in this one
Way
here, but
different than I expected.
let's start by getting rid of this thing. We'll probably play for another turn or two here to see what our opponent has. Alright, well, unless we draw an answer for that thing, which doesn't exist in our deck. It's like the only thing that could have even have given us a chance there would have been to um have a Wizard's Lightning and us attack into it, and then our opponent not block, which our opponent was probably going to block there, but I think Wizard's Lightning has more value than Play with Fire, so I know we sideboarded differently there, but I'd like to try that anyway. What's your best Magic dramatic moment you've seen at a local? Doesn't have to be about you, doesn't have to be about me. Huh, that's interesting. I have to think about that because like there's been a lot of like pretty interesting moments. I was one time watching my buddy play and he was playing, this was during like Phoenix, the Rekindling Phoenix Glorybringer standard, and he was playing that red green monsters deck and he's playing against Esper Control, and I was watching the Esper Control guy play, just like I was on the other side of the table just watching him play, and I watched the Esper Control guy um peel like, I can't remember. It was like the only three cards in a row that would win him the game, and one of them was like Settle the Wreckage, um, Settle the Wreckage, Scarab God, and something, and like Gear Hulk or something else. I don't know. It was nonsense, and I remember just like my jaw just kind of hit the floor because thinking about how crazy it was. So I mean, I don't know that there's ever been like just a hard crazy moment for me that I can look back to and remember. I want to be efficient and just play this here, but I think that's wrong. Do you have like a moment that you can look back on and remember something crazy happening? So I'm actually one short of doing the things that I want to do. I think this is the better play here because I'm going to attack, my opponent's going to block, and then I'm going to Skewer the Critics, the Kavu, or if they just take 4, I'm okay with that too. My opponent just takes 4 here. I'll probably just... Wow. That's interesting. I actually think I'm going to do nothing here because I think the best play is to discard the Sokenzan here and make a couple of guys. Yeah, you create two 1/1s here. Okay, what would be the craziest loss moment you've ever had in paper or even digital but did not mind that you lost because of what happened when they popped off from? I remember one time I was playing against Esper Control. One of my buddies was playing Esper Control at F&M, and I was playing the mono red deck in that standard format. Um, And all right, we're gonna channel this. And I remember he was at 1 for like 6 turns in a row. And I kept drawing burn spell after burn spell after burn spell, like after creature, and his answers lined up 6 turns in a row perfectly. And then drew Torrential Gearhulk to counter the spell that I played on the 6 turn, um, and just took over the game from there. Now, that was probably the most disappointed I can remember being in a while, but it was like one of those moments that I remember looking back on and was like, I don't think I could have done anything differently here. Like I don't know that anything could have been changed. And I remember losing that game, and like me and my buddy both were just kind of like, wow. And I was like, nobody had anything to say. Fatal Push here would be backbreaking. I think one of the coolest things I've ever got to do, truthfully, is one time my opponent was exactly at 4 at a PPTQ, and I peeled a Boros Charm off the top to win the game. That was probably one of the funnest things I've ever got to do. All right, I'm just gonna put the pressure on my opponent's life total here, because the Stomp here puts our opponent to 2, and then the Ramunap Ruins wins the game. I feel like there are a lot of like really cool moments that people that I know or people that I'm friends with can look back on and just kind of say that they enjoyed, because they didn't get captured on camera or there wasn't something else. Like it's just you and your buddies remembering it. And I think that's like one of my favorite feelings, honestly, is knowing that there's like this like, ooh, that's not good for me. Um, just like knowing that like uh just like knowing that you and your buddies have something cool that you can look back on and remember that you really enjoyed and had a good time with. All right, our opponent goes to 9 here. All right, I'm going to hope that they don't have a removal spell here. That's an Abzan land. Okay, well, that's pretty solid. It's actually a better play just to attack here. Man, the Lightning Helix hurts. That's pretty disappointing because the Lightning Helix was going to be a blowout either way. I needed them not to have a Lightning Helix right there. What's some of your favorite watching Magic moments with no cameras? Like a local style Saturday tournament event, either like players hated each other or huge decisions? Uh, that's tough. That's a tough one to answer. That wasn't on camera. Favorite moments that weren't on camera.
You and I are gonna take them out.
I don't know. I know that one time. Let's see what we hit here. Skewer the Critics? Well, I can't play that. Um, I know that one time something happened between a couple of the guys that I knew, and they had. Is this another? Oh, I thought that was Lightning Helix. I was like, my gosh. I was like, bro. I was like, get off my back. Um, Something had happened between a couple of the guys that like we all played cards together, and one of them actually sat down to play the other one, and when they sat down, he refused to play him. Literally, like, and it was like it was at an F&M, nothing important, but they were so mad at each other that they refused to play. It was wildly interesting. And I have this random memory where one time we had put together this tournament series at our local store where we were trying to set up like and make it a little bit more competitive for everybody, just so like everybody could come and have a good time and compete at a higher level with some of the higher level guys in our area. And are you serious, bro? Jeez. Is that 3 lightning helixes? No, it's just 2. I thought that was more than that for some reason. It's gonna be hard to beat Gigantha from here. And one of my buddies who had ended up putting the tournament together actually couldn't play the last week. It was a points based system, and what we had done is like that last week a few of us needed enough points to qualify for the top 8 or top 6 or whatever it was, and one of my buddies just couldn't make it, and we had decided that before it started that these were going to be the 8 weeks we would play, no exceptions to the rules. And I remember he couldn't make it to play, and I remember it was like this, like one of these like big like disappointing moments for like for my buddy. I don't see a reason to. Yeah, I might as well hold the land. I mean, I just kind of have to hope that my opponent's drawing lands too, which it appears they're not. Like a Niv Mizzet or something like that probably ends the game. I don't know if they put Bring to Light in this format, but if they did, that's miserable. They shocked in. Gosh, that must. Oh, it's Hydroid Crisis. Definitely Hydroid Crisis. Well, that's unfortunate. All right, well, we're gonna put our opponent to 8 here. Ugh. All right, our opponent, Niv Mizzet, got the better of us this time around. Not that I'm super surprised. Niv Mizzet is a pretty tough matchup as it is anyway. Speaking of FNM style, did y'all have the FNM player that that played a deck literally designed just to beat the FNM decks at the store? Yes, there was always someone who would like hedge their bets against what everyone else was playing. Like we had a couple of guys one time who, like, when I was playing, yeah, I mean, Ben, you're right. There's always that guy. I remember there was one week when that Rakdos aggro deck was like the best like deck in the format with like Goblin Chain Whirler and stuff like that. And people like someone just brought like mono white life gain because they knew there was like 3 of us playing that deck, and it was just like just kind of like laughed and like went our separate ways. And I remember he was so proud that he beat all of us, and it was just kind of like a, oh well, like I don't know what you want. I'm not gonna play against this, at a Grand Prix or like at a PPTQ. Like it's not a big deal. So, but yeah, dude, there's always those people. Like it doesn't matter where you go, what you play, there will always be those people. I've been playing a ton of Flesh and Blood lately. Like Flesh and Blood's like become one of my favorite games, and people like one of the guys. Oh Lord, he annoys me so much sometimes, but he he's been hedging a lot against us when we're playing Flesh and Blood, and it annoys us because we're like, why are you like? It's not fun like when you're just being miserable like this. Off topic from the Magic question: basic plain waffles or basic plain pancakes, and why? So is okay. So if you're doing basic plain, like no syrup, no butter, no nothing, I'm taking waffles. But if you're adding syrup, I'm taking pancakes. Personally. It's always the modern people that have some random ass hellstop everything deck that you need someone with like a lantern to just troll them. Yeah, so there's I've known a few people like that. Like waffles either way. All right, Ben, we can agree to disagree here. But I mean, like honestly, I kind of enjoy those people that show up with lantern control to play modern every now and again, or like show up with mono red prison or something crazy like that, because it's like you need that person who plays control or plays like this like prisony style deck to keep those kind of people in check, because those like random style strategies always lose to those decks. So no, I agree. You definitely need that. And I'm not gonna lie, lantern control was kind of miserable to play against, but at the same time, like lantern control wasn't that bad. Like I kind of like there was a very high there was a very high skill cap to lantern control in my opinion. Like it was not easy to be good at lantern control. It appears that my opponent's not here, though. It's hilarious. The whole store will be on the Lantern side. Yes, that is exactly true. We had a guy at our shop bring Lantern every time someone would get out of line like that. I mean, that's the best way to keep those people in check. It's a good man right there. I have to say, these kinds of like conversations and like reminiscing about like playing paper magic all the time is like some of the most fun I remember having like over over the course of playing cards. Like, don't get me wrong, I've been streaming for like a year and a half now or something like that, and I've really enjoyed it, and it's a lot of fun because I've met a lot of cool people that I didn't know. But at the same time, there is nothing like playing paper magic in my opinion. Like playing paper magic and just like hanging out with like all those people that you get to see a couple times a week when you're doing that. Like, there's just nothing like that in my opinion. Rabbit battery. That's interesting. So I'm stuck between our opponent doesn't have a ton of wild cards and I'm about to just like get bonked by something that I'm not aware of. They did keep a one lander. I'm just gonna attack and see what happens, and I'm gonna follow up with Chandra Soul-Scar Mage. Oh, they're just gonna take it.
Oh, I've never crashed a wedding like this before.
It might have been better to
I'd love to.
it might have been better to play the Soul-Scar Mage and hold up Bonecrusher Giant there, because we could interact if they do have some kind of like bonk us combo. Oh, a 2/2 with haste. Oh man, what is my? All right, my opponent's got to be doing something here. They're not even attacking. They're not even attacking my planeswalker. Does this become a creature once this dies? I wonder how that works. Honestly, I'm honestly wondering if I even need to fool with that thing or if I can just kill him here. Honestly, one of the best parts of paper magic is when a new person comes in the shop and just slays your FNM for like 3 weeks straight. I do really enjoy that actually. Like, it is kind of nice to like see that happen because it doesn't happen very regularly. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, they're just dead here. Pretty sure the play with fire just kills them actually. We'll leave that on top again. Yep. Yeah. So again, I'm going back to I feel like I'm not gonna lie, I do enjoy when fun new people come to the shop and like they're good because it's always interesting to like see those people because it's like people that don't come out very regularly that just move there. I do think that makes it very interesting. I'm debating if I even want Ferocidon here. Like, I think I'm just gonna cut to Kumano's here and just try it that way. I mean, Kumano seems fine. Like, it doesn't seem like bad or anything, but it also just doesn't seem very good, so. This hand seems fine. Really like that art on that mountain. Not gonna lie. Yeah, not often, I guess, but every blue moon you get a dude with a collection and skill, then he's in the group in like a week. Yeah, no, that does happen every now and again. Like when people just randomly roll into the store and they're like actually pretty good. So I've enjoyed that. Like I really enjoy meeting new people. All right, yeah. See this. I'm telling you, like we have to like. I'm about to get bonked. Like, I don't know. I feel like this is like some weird like mono red hammer time or something like that. Like, and I'm just about to like get hard bonked right here. Hey, let's go. Ship it IRL. Thanks for the 2 months. I appreciate it. What do you think is worse, losing the winning in for top 8, or you make top 8 and watch your friend lose his winning in? Wow. That's that's a pretty heavy question. I don't know. I mean, it's like I would say that there is disappointment to both because I hate watching, like, I've hated over the years watching my friends lose their winning in. But it's really disappointing on a personal level when I lose my winning in because I'm a very competitive person and I really strive to do well. So, I mean, like a good example is like I went to the beginning of your upkeep. All right, I don't know what's going on here. I'm just gonna like Bonecrusher Giant this 2/1 here. Um, Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess I'd probably have to say it's more disappointing to lose personally than yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'd have to say personally losing the winning in, like I hate that like that my buddy's not gonna make top 8, but at the same time like I'm also like yeah, I hate my buddy's not gonna make top 8, but I'm like ultra competitive, so like I'm always going to events to do well, so I would always rather see myself top 8. And thanks for the 2 months, by the way, Ship It. I really appreciate that. What did that say? That's interesting. See, I'm telling you, right here. I feel like I'm about to get bonked. I hope there is no bonking. I don't really understand why they shocked that. See, so I was talking to someone the other day about. Hang on, let's. What would you do if you had gotten the title of world champ for Magic? Oh my gosh, I honestly have no idea. I would have lost my mind. Like, that is like I mean, like being world champion of your thing. Like obviously that is like that's the dream, right? Like that's the ceiling. That's where the peak is. Like that's where you want to be at. Um, so I honestly I have no idea what I would do if I won the world championship for Magic. But I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I'm that good. Like even remotely. I think I make way too many play mistakes um, to accomplish something like that. I guess I should see what I'm gonna hit here first. Should have done that before. See, like I should have done that before I played the Lava Runner. Like that. Like again, another example.
Yup, you're going down.
We'll auto pay here, and then I'm gonna attack for 2, and then I'm gonna play Kumano after combat here because it allows me to have a 5/4 Bonecrusher Giant. And then I get to play Lava Runner and Wizard's Lightning. If I draw an untapped land, I can also plus Chandra for 2 damage. Or if I don't draw a land, I can plus Chandra for mana and play it that way. And run out everything I want to do that way. Kumano is a very good card. Like, I really enjoy that card. Play mistakes are huge. I've seen a guy top 4 30 plus person FNMs for months on end, but can't top 8 a local tourney to save his life. I mean, like I've known people like that. Like I get it. Like a lot of times you don't like so I realized this when I was got like so that like during that like 2018, 2019, sometime in there, I spent almost every month going to a PPTQ. And a lot of people don't realize the difference between FNM and a PPTQ and then a GP. Like there are like every time you move up in a setting, you're moving up in a competitive level that most people just don't realize exists. Oh, excuse me. Like because it's just one of those things that like it's just it's just so it just changes so much. Like the dynamic, the everything changes. I think I'd rather have the 2 damage. Play the Bonecrusher Giant, come in as a 5/4. So I actually have to go upstairs to have lethal here. See, like right there, like there's a good example of things that like a lot of people would like I feel like a lot of people like would miss if you weren't thinking about it. Like just a quick mistake that I almost made. If I Wizards Lightning the Rabbit battery there, I actually only have 6 points and my opponent's not dead. But taking Wizard's Lightning upstairs gives me lethal here, and my opponent's dead. Now, most people would notice that if they took enough time playing in a competitive setting, but playing in a quick match like that, like, it might, I don't think it would have cost me the game, but it might have. You never know. Like, it could have cost me a game right there. But playing in a, like, I'm so far ahead, normally it wouldn't have mattered there. It's the same concept of having a guy who would day 2 a GP 90% of the time, but instead he plays side events and just claps everyone. Yeah, no, I mean, absolutely. Like, it's absolutely the same concept there. Like, there's a big skill gap there that most people don't realize. And now I think our opponent's realizing they're going to lose, so they're just going to use out their ropes there and make my day a little bit more miserable. So thanks for that, opponent. I've actually been looking recently to see if I can find anybody that plays All right, so this is our last one at least. Anybody that streams Flesh and Blood? I've been trying to find some people to watch live that play Flesh and Blood. So I've been watching a lot of like the VODs on YouTube, and there's a lot of good content out there. But I can't really find a ton of people that stream it. So I would really enjoy to find somebody like that that does that. I'm gonna go ahead and mark us 2-1 here. All right. Well, slowly but surely, well, we might get out of here, get out of bronze. It's been that long since I played arena. It's so funny to look and see myself in bronze. Well, there's the gold. We'll probably buy some packs or something. But still, I think locals will always be the best tourneys. The hatred between either same shop or different shops that have like a win and end against each other is peak Magic versus any Pro Tour. No, I completely agree. Like honestly, that is so true. Like that local level, like I don't really know if people want to call it. I don't know if like it's like really hatred, but there is a lot of this is my store. So like I need to do well here and represent. And when I go to other local stores, I need to do well and represent my store there too. So I actually think that was really cool. They have been talking about for a couple years now, but I think the pandemic's pushed a lot of it back. I'm hoping they'll do it sometime. They have talked about having a what they're wanting to call like the. I live in an area called the Tri Cities in Tennessee. They're wanting to call it the Tri Cities Cup, and so what they're wanting to have do is like there's like 3 or 4 local stores, and they're wanting to have like the store pick like 6 to 8 players or something like that, and then get all of those like all like 24 or 32 people together in one place and have like a big competition. and like you're representing each store or something like that, and like each of the store goes in and like puts in so much for prize support, and I think something like that would be really cool to do, even if they had that, like a couple times a year or something like that. I think that would be a lot of fun. That used to be a thing. I heard about that when I went to Knox for SCG, I think. Isn't there a trophy for this from years ago? I'm not sure if there is a trophy. I don't like. I know people that play Magic in Knoxville, but I don't know a ton about the Knoxville scene. I haven't been down there in a while to play Magic, but there might be a trophy. This might like somebody may have stole this idea. Might be where it came from. I think we got a mulligan this hand. I'm okay keeping this hand off double light up the stage, and I'm gonna put up the skewer. I'm gonna put the skewer back based on the fact that we have two wizards in our hand. So I don't want to put my 2-drop creature back. Hopefully we hit a land here and it just doesn't matter. Never lucky. I say that. I'm lucky all the time. Don't let anybody lie to you, especially me. Okay. I think I'm just gonna pass and hold up Wizard's Lightning here. I don't know what basic island represents. Now I feel like we're playing against blue-white control. I'm just gonna go ahead and fire this off here. So we'll play this, turn on Spectacle from Light Up the Stage, play Light Up the Stage to get an extra Prowess trigger. Now we'll punch in for 2. Now the good news is that in a lot of times I don't know if Wrath of God is legal in Explorer. There's normally some kind of Wrath of God kind of thing, 4 mana Wrath in white. So this will probably get hit with an absorb. Our opponent has an absorb here. Like, just depends on what they want to use it on. They have a removal spell that they're going to use here. I would be very surprised. Okay. So they might have had an absorb and chose not to use it. I'm going to fire off the Skewer the Critics now that I know it's fair. If they had a Spell Pierce there, we could have paid for it. Odds of them having main deck Spell Pierce are not very high. So, well, Wizard's Lightning is pretty solid. We're going to play our Den of the Bugbear. An untapped land might win us the game there. I'm not sure. Also, the SCG team events definitely miss. Yeah, the Standard, Modern, Legacy from 2018, 2019 era was sick. Yeah, I really like those tournaments because I felt like you got like some of the first team tournaments were a lot of fun. They were really cool. I've been to a few of those, and I remember you'd always have one player who would just never win a single game, and you'd still day 2. Yes, it's kind of funny how that works out. How it's like you either have you normally have somebody who does really well and somebody who doesn't do that hot. And you either day 2 or you're like right on the cusp of missing day 2. I've seen that happen to more than one group of well, to me and a group of friends. So, I mean, I know that feeling. This kind of feels like another shark or a Settle the Wreckage here. If it's a shark, they're dead. Settle the Wreckage does get them out of it. Oh, excuse me. So, definitely think they wanted to do that before I attacked. But I'm not complaining because it gives us lethal there. You'd always have one player who would just never win a single game and you would still day 2. You lost all weekend at a team event. Yeah. So I mean, I have played on like 4 or 5 team events, and I would say in at least 2 of them, I was the reason we didn't day 2. Like honestly, like I don't have any shame in that because team events are some days it's your day and some days it's not, and unfortunately that's just how it goes sometimes. And when I say would not win a single game, I don't mean literally. Um, but like one time I went to a team open and there were like 8 rounds and one of my buddies was like 7-1 and one of my buddies was like 6-2 and 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 I'm pretty sure we still day two'd. Like, and I went like 4-5 or something like that. What seat? One time I played Legacy and didn't do so hot. I went like 4-5 or 3-5 or something like that. And then one time I played Modern. Um, One of the ones I remember doing really well at was Standard. Like I played Legacy at one and did horrible. I played Legacy at another one and did great. And then I played Standard when Feather was a thing and did really well. And then I remember doing really poorly in playing Burn and Modern at one time. So I've had team experiences are very up and down for me. Like I always have a good time and I always enjoy doing it, but I just sometimes I don't play my best and it just shows a lot. Let's see. We don't want to play with fires here. And like, do I want a lot of burn spells? Are burn spells the way to go, or am I wanting to try and load up? Like, I have Planeswalkers, 4 Ferocidons. I mean, I think we'll cut 2 Wizards Lightning and try it this way and see what happens. The middle seat is always stressful. Yes, the middle seat is always super stressful because it feels like sometimes you end up having to play like a lot of like you have to help a lot when you sit in the middle seat, so it's definitely stressful sometimes. Um, but I don't know. The way I like to play team tournaments, is like when we get there, like I play my game and my teammates play their games, and if they need help, they ask, and if not, like everybody just kind of does their own thing. And I honestly like I'm a firm believer that that's the best way to do it. Is that when you're at a team tournament, um, like everybody plays their own match, and then if you need help with something or you have a question, you ask. I'm a firm believer in that. Okay, I have absolute unless they pay 3. Non-creature spells you control can't be countered, would be put into graveyard, and it's a 2/2 with flying. All right, so we're definitely gonna play Chandra, um, and skewer this thing straight back to where it came from.
Without the sun, I'll light your way. Let's bring things up to a simmer.
And they missed a land drop, which is really solid. And I think having my board pressure is more important than that 3 points of damage. Unless you have one guy who can't win a game 3 and there is 7 minutes left of the clock and you're like slow down, bro. That's kind of funny. I remember that happening at a team event that I went to. One of my buddies was playing Control and like would just draw a bunch of times. Um, um, and to try and like help, like instead of like him losing in the third game, we told him to like, well, I don't really know that we told him to play slow to like intentionally cheat or anything like that. I just think it was more of like a you don't have to be in such a rush, like because you can't win the game kind of thing. I don't know. I think we're just gonna get Ferocidon down here. I think I might do that and then play Skewer the Critics.
Give a toast.
Play the Mountain.
I'd love to.
Make your decisions carefully, buddy. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, like that's honestly the best way to like say it. Is that's what we were trying to say. Is that I remember there being like it was really hard to win game threes in that format for him, and we told him to slow down and make his decisions. Like I do remember that. Yeah, I remember that happening to me at one of the team events. Disturb cost 3 there. Ooh, is that a Teferi? Big Teferi? I wonder if 3-mana Teferi is legal in this format. I doubt it. At least I hope not. Um, let's get a damage in.
Watch me heat up the dance floor.
I mean, the fact that our opponent's missing land drops here, like this game's over. Like it's very unfortunate for them. Yeah, that's just it's an unfortunate way to go out for our opponent there. All right. I don't know. The mono red deck's felt pretty good so far. Hasn't really felt like we're getting like outclassed or anything. So Oh, I've not heard many good things about Explorer. Um, like I've heard people talk about it a lot, and I honestly thought they were just bringing Pioneer to this client for a while, but they ended up not doing that. Um, huh. One of my buddies is looking for some of his Flesh and Blood cards. Apparently, he thinks he loaned them out. Now he can't find them, and I hate that, man. I hate not being able to find cards, especially like ones that are worth money. I I hate that feeling. It's a very stressful feeling not being able to find your cards. Um, Truthfully, this hand feels very awkward. Um, but I like having Din, and I like having like just good cards. I'm honestly debating if I should even play the Kumano here. I mean, I'm thinking I should just to try to get a body on the field as soon as possible. Hopefully, we draw like a 1 or a 2 drop here to make this good. Radiant Fountain. Okay, well, I don't know what kind of deck leads on Radiant Fountain, but you're a terrible person, sir. Kidding, this guy's probably not a terrible person, but it's a very frustrating circumstance. What is this, like mono white Eldrazi or something crazy? Our opponent gets a plains. I was like, I don't even think I want to get my I don't even think I want to get the Chandra down here because I haven't seen any blue, so I'm not really worried about counter spells here. But I think it'll be a good follow up here. They foretell a card. All right. So you're just gonna soak all of that? I mean, I feel like that changes things a little bit. We'll lead here. We'll run out our land. Plus, add a mana, play Kumano, and then between the Lotopus stage here, we should be able to find a creature to be able to get value off of the Kumano trigger here. Yep. I mean, kind of saw something like that coming. I still want to play the Lotopus stage here to see if we can find a better creature. Maybe better is not the word I was looking for. All right. Got a 5/4 Bonecrusher Giant. That feels pretty solid. Ugh. You're toxic, sir. You're toxic. I mean, if you're playing a deck that doesn't really rely on stuff like that, then there's nothing wrong with it. It's just unfortunate for me. I wonder if that's the Angels card. This actually allows us to make a really sweet play here with it in the Bugbear. We get to come in for quite a bit. And then we have 9 points worth of damage in our hand, so... Now, if it's not the Angels card, the Entreat the Angels card, then it's probably another Doomscar, which is fine. Because we have like a billion points in our hand, and we actually... Okay, so this is kind of like that mud deck that we saw for a while. Okay. I mean, they were just dead to the Kumano and to that, so... no idea what they're doing, so we're going to bring in Chandra and the Ferocidons. We'll cut our Play with Fires again, probably cut our Wizard's Lightnings. Wizard's Lightnings is one of those necessary evils that you have to play in a lot of formats. The last time that I truly felt good about playing Wizard's Lightning has been a minute. It's been a hot minute since I have felt good about playing Wizard's Lightning. It's just very I don't know. Like Wizard's Lightning was really good during that standard. Like when you had Soul-Scar Mage, that deck was so good. You had Soul-Scar Mage, Lavarunner, Pyromancer, and I feel like there was another wizard, but I can't remember. I don't know, but you had a full 12, and it was very rarely not turned on. I don't know. They mulliganed. I kind of like this. We only need one more land to go with our den. Plus, we have a really solid curve into a sideboard card on turn 3, so that feels pretty solid to me. Paradiddle of Death. They have something to play. Because it wasn't just pass from there, so they have something to do. Maybe it cycles something? I don't know. Field of Ruin. Well, that kind of sucks. Cold Steel Heart's a really good way to ramp up, right? Because it taps for one of the chosen color. Yeah, so it's ramp, not... I mean, I guess it could be filtering in the right situation, but it's ramp. Back-to-back portable holes. All right. But no land drop. Okay, now that's good for us. And we just hit our other land that we need for Den of the Bugbear. We want to be done with lands here, unless they're utility lands. Even then, we really don't want to see them. Yeah, so this is like that mud deck, like the mono black artifacty deck. It's like the same thing. All right, I'm going to make an aggressive play here and hope they don't have a sweeper, because I feel like if they did, they would have foretold it. Maybe not, but that is really good because, man, that 0-4 just became take 2. They can't gain life. They can destroy one of our permanents, which sucks, but to target player or planeswalker. This is actually really sweet because we can have it deal 1 to Ugin. Wow. Value. That's really good. That is now 2 life they took from the Ferocidons off of its ability alone, and we have prevented 3 life now. Probably going to Field of Ruin our Den of the Bugbear here. Yeah, no, it's a good choice. I mean, if not, like, I'm just going to kill you with it next turn, so. They can actually double block the Ferocidon here if they want to. Seems pretty medium in my opinion, but okay. That at least gives you another blocker. Oh, cool. Now they're just dead. Plus here.
Give a toast? I'd love to.
And hit him for 2. Nice. All right. Well, that felt pretty good. So, I mean, I don't know. Like the Explorer deck felt pretty good here. Just remembered at GP Atlanta, someone was playing a graveyard deck, and some dude had like in his side event. Then some dude was like, "You should always play 12 pieces of graveyard hate, thinking of old Magic stories are hilarious, dude." Yeah, it's stuff like that. Like people who play like this absurd amount of graveyard hate like in side events and things like that. Like the only time I remember people playing like an absurd amount of like graveyard hate or just like hate in general was when Hogak was really big and stuff like that's crazy. Like if you're ever running um if you're ever running 12 pieces of graveyard hate, like you got problems. Like somebody hurt you in the worst way, and that's all I know how to tell you. Yeah, I heard this is a very good thing for bronze. Is love bronze's live for MTJ ranking? No, that's fair. I mean, mono red will generally run through the lower ranks. We did play a couple hard matchups today though. This was pre-modern horizons. Oh, okay, gotcha. I think someone said he's running black or something. He should play surgical or some crap. I mean, I've heard people make crazy like accusations like that before. Like it doesn't surprise me. People say crazy things all the time. All right, so this was the mono red deck in Explorer. It was pretty cool. I kind of enjoyed it. The Kumano card feels really good. Chandra Dress to Kill feels a lot better in this format than it does in Pioneer. Oh, excuse me. I didn't really like Dress to Kill in Pioneer. It just felt very meh to me. Um, Also, I know Winota's banned in this format, so that's not something we ever have to play around, which I'm very thankful for. So just little things like that to think about. Some of the ways that the format is different. I was really hoping that Swiss Spear and Eidolon would be in this format because I would take out Lava Runner and Pyromancer for Eidolon and Lava or for Swiss Spear in a second. We would have to figure out something in the place of Wizard's Lightning. Excuse me. But that'd be okay. We'd figure that out. So I don't know. This deck was kind of fun. I'm gonna take probably I don't know 5-10 minutes here. And when I come back, I'm gonna be playing some Feather. So if you like Feather, hang out, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Thanks for hanging out, guys.